Hi everyone and welcome to Spanish pronunciation tips for native English speakers. This video has been brought to you by me, Julie Helliwell, at Get to Grips with Spanish. I moved from Yorkshire to Lanzarote almost 9 years ago, and I spent many years before that trying to learn Spanish. So I want to make it as easy for you as possible, and therefore I've put together this video about how to pronounce all the letters in the Spanish alphabet. The alphabet can be called two things in Spanish, el alfabeto or el abecedario, which is like saying the ABCs in English. If someone is illiterate, they're actually called analfabeto, meaning that they lack the alphabet. Officially, the Spanish alphabet contains 27 letters. It's the same as the English alphabet with the addition of ñ. However, sometimes the following letter combinations are also included, which are CH, double L and double R. First, I will say the whole alphabet, including the combination letters, then I'll go through each letter one by one. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W o W, X, Y, Z. The combinations are Ch, Y, y R. The letter A in English has the Spanish name A. English pronunciation is like the A at the beginning of apple or in man, so an A sound. Examples are aire, which means air, ajo, which means garlic, and animal, which means animal. So it's an A sound for aire, ajo, animal. And it sounds like the A at the beginning of apple or in man. The letter B is called B in Spanish. The English pronunciation is like the soft B at the beginning of the word bed, be. Examples are banco, which means bank, blusa, which means blouse, and boda, which means wedding. So it's a be sound, like at the beginning of bed, for banco, blusa, and boda. The letter C is called se in Spanish. The English pronunciation varies. So before the vowels A, O, and U, it's pronounced like the C in car or cook, so a K sound. For example, canción means song, coche means car, and cuenta means bill. Before E and I, the sound is more like the C in century, so like an S sound. For example, céntimo means cent, cinta means tape. So you have the C sound in ca or cook for canción, coche, and cuenta, and then you have an S sound like céntimo and cinta, and the letter C is called se. The letter D is called de in Spanish. Again, there are two types of English pronunciation. At the beginning of a word, it's similar to the D in English, but move your tongue behind your top teeth to soften it. So for example, débil means weak, dirección means address, and dúo means duo. When it's at the end of a word, D sounds like a soft TH. So examples are ciudad, meaning city, and verdad means truth. So it can be similar to an English D, but a bit softer at the beginning of a word, débil, dirección, and dúo. And at the end of the word, it's like a soft TH, ciudad and verdad. And the name is de. The letter E is called E in Spanish. The English pronunciation is just like the E at the beginning of the word elephant, E. Examples are elefante, meaning elephant, and emoción, meaning emotion. So we have the letter E for elefante y emoción. The letter F in Spanish is called F. The pronunciation in English is just like the English F. For example, falda means skirt, Fe means faith, and frío means cold. So we have falda, fe, and frío, and that is the letter F, F. The letter G is called G in Spanish. There are two types of English pronunciation. So before E or I, G is like a breathy English H, like the H sound at the end of the Scottish word loch, like a ch. Examples are gente, meaning people, and gigante, meaning giant. Before A, O, U, and other letters, it's like a normal English G. So for example, gallina means hen, goma means glue, and grupo means group. So before E or I, it's like a breathy English H, gente, gigante. Before A, O, U, and other letters, it's like a normal English G, gallina, goma, grupo. And the letter is G. The letter H is called H in Spanish. This letter is usually silent in terms of English pronunciation. So for example, habitación means room, hola means hello, and hotel means hotel. So it's called H, but it's normally silent. Habitación, hola, hotel. The letter I is called E, or sometimes E Latina. The English pronunciation is pronounced like a short double E in English. So examples are idea, means idea, insecto means insect, and internet means internet. So the letter E is like a short double E in English, E, idea, insecto, internet. And in Spanish it is E or E Latina. The letter J is called J in Spanish. The English pronunciation is similar to the sound of the Spanish letter G before E or I. It's like a breathy English H, like the H in the Scottish word loch. So examples are jabón, meaning soap, julio, meaning July, and jarra, meaning jar or large beer. So it's like an H sound, breathy English H. So jabón, julio, and jarra, and the name is Jota. The letter K is K in Spanish. It's not a very common letter in Spanish, but it's pronounced like the English K. In fact, most words are the same or similar. For example, kilogramo means kilogram, kiwi means kiwi, and karaoke means karaoke. So it's the letter K in Spanish for kilogramo, kiwi, karaoke. The letter L is called L in Spanish. The English pronunciation is close to the English letter L, but with the tongue raised up higher in the mouth. So for example, lápiz means pencil, león means lion, and libro means book. So lápiz, león, libro, and the letter is L. The letter M in Spanish is called M, and the English pronunciation is just like the English letter M. For example, madre means mother, and móvil means mobile phone. So madre, móvil, the letter M. The letter N is called N in Spanish. The English pronunciation is just like the English letter N. So examples are noche, meaning night, novio means boyfriend, and no means no. So we have noche, novio, and no. And this is the letter N. The letter Ñ, which is an N with an accent above it, called a tilde, is called Ñ in Spanish. The English pronunciation is the sound of the NY combination in the word canyon. So it's a Ny sound. So examples are niño, meaning boy or child, and mañana, meaning morning or tomorrow. So if you were to say tomorrow morning, you would say mañana por la mañana. So we have niño, mañana, it's the NY sound, Ny sound, and the letter is Ñ. The letter O is called O in Spanish. In English pronunciation, it sounds like the O in the word sock, O. Examples are octubre for October, odio meaning hate, and ola meaning wave. Octubre, odio, ola. So it sounds like the O in the word sock, oh, and it's called oh. The letter P is called pe in Spanish. The English pronunciation is similar to the English P sound, but short, like the P at the beginning of the word pen, pe. So for example, padre means father, padres means parents, and pera means pear. So padre, padres, pera, and it's the letter pe. The letter Q is called Q in Spanish. As in English, Q is always followed by the letter U, but it sounds more like a K. So for example, que means what, quien means who, and queso means cheese. So que, quien, queso. So it's a K sound, but the letter is called Q. The letter R is called R. The English pronunciation varies, so within a word it's a soft R. Tap your tongue quickly and lightly against the roof of your mouth. It's as if you were going to roll the R but changed your mind. So examples are cara, meaning face, hora, meaning hour, and pero, meaning but. At the beginning of a word, it's a rolled and harder R like a double R. So for example, reloj means clock or watch, rio means river, and rey means king. So we've got the soft R within a word, like cara, hora, and pero, or at the beginning of a word, you have a rolled R, reloj, rio, rey, and that's the letter R. The letter S is called ese in Spanish. The English pronunciation is just like the English letter S. So for example, sal means salt, sin means without, and sábado means Saturday. So sal, sin, sábado with the letter ese. The letter T in Spanish is called te. The English pronunciation of the T is that in Spanish it's a much softer, gentler sound than in English. It's less punctuated and there's not as much breath or effort behind it. So for example, tiempo means weather, te means tea, and toalla means towel. So tiempo, te, toalla. So that is the letter T. The letter U in Spanish is called U. The English pronunciation is like the double O sound in the word mood, U, ood. For example, uñas means nails, un poco means a bit, and uvas means grapes. So you have uñas, un poco, uvas with the letter U. The letter V in Spanish is called ube. The pronunciation is that usually a V is pronounced in the same way as a B in Spanish, like a soft B at the beginning of bed or best. However, you might occasionally hear it sound more like a V depending on the speaker. For example, if someone is bilingual, or it depends on your location. Examples are vaso, meaning glass, ventana, meaning window, and vino, meaning wine. So vaso, ventana, vino, and that's the letter V, which is often pronounced as a B in Spanish. The letter W in Spanish is called W or W, which actually translates to double V instead of W. The English pronunciation is that it's not a very common letter in Spanish and it sounds similar to the English W. Most words that use it have been borrowed from English, as you can see from these examples. Wi-Fi, whiskey, water polo, and sandwich. So the letter W, which is either called W or W. Wi-Fi, whiskey, water polo, sandwich. The letter X is called X in Spanish. There are two types of English pronunciation. It's usually pronounced like the KS in the word locks, so X. For example, taxi means taxi, sexto means sixth, and examen means exam. In some cases, for For example, with names and places in Mexico, or at the beginning of a word, it can be more like a breathy H sound, a sh sound, or an S sound. For example, Mexico is an H sound, Chico, which is a place in Mexico, is a sh sound, and xilófono is a s sound. So this is the letter X. The letter Y is called Y in Spanish. There are two types of English pronunciation. It's usually pronounced like the Y in the word yes, so a y sound. For example, yema means yolk, egg yolk. Yogur means yogurt, and hoy means today. At the end of a word following an A, it sounds more like the letter I. For example, I means there is or there are. So it can be a y sound, yema, yogur, hoy, or an I sound, like I, meaning there is or there are. And that's the letter Y. The letter Z in Spanish is called zeta. The English pronunciation is that this letter usually sounds like the English letter S. However, in some areas of Spain, it can sound like a TH. For example, here in Lanzarote, we would say zanahoria, meaning carrot, zapato, meaning shoe, and zumo, meaning juice. But in other areas of Spain, you will hear zanahoria, zapato, zumo. And they would say that the letter Z is called zeta. So here we call it zeta, zanahoria, zapato, zumo. The letter combo CH is called che in Spanish. The English pronunciation is like the English ch sound in cheese. So for example, coche means car, ducha means shower, fecha means date. So it's a ch sound like in cheese, coche, ducha, fecha, and the name is che. The letter combo double L is called eye in Spanish. With English pronunciation, a double L usually sounds like an English Y. For example, the word spelt C-A-L-L-E is pronounced as calle. However, in some Latin American countries, double L can be said like the J in judge, so it would be calle, or even like the SH in shoe, so calle. This would be mainly in Argentina. However, here we say it like a Y. So for example, calle means street, llave means key, and paella is paella. So it's a eye. The letter combo double R is called doble R in Spanish. So the English pronunciation of the double R means you need to roll the R's. So raise your tongue in your mouth and curl it slightly backwards. The trill sound comes from the vibration of your tongue. You could try saying brrr as if you're really cold. When you were a kid, did you ever try to purr like a cat or make a telephone ringing sound? If so, try that again. So prrr or bring bring. As I mentioned previously, this is also the sound you use when an R is at the beginning of a word. But within words, examples are arriba, meaning up, perro, meaning dog, and tierra, meaning earth. So it's a doble R. Arriba, perro, tierra. And that's it, we've finished. Here's a quick recap. Let's just go over the whole alphabet a couple more times. First I'll do it slowly and then a bit faster. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W or W, X, Y, Z. The combinations are che, eye, double R. Okay, now for a little bit faster. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W or W, X, Y, Z. Combinations are che, eye, double R. Thank you so much for watching my first ever video. If you want to connect with me, you can do so via my Facebook page, Get to Grips with Spanish, And if you want to buy any of my books, here's the QR code to my Amazon series link page. If you're outside of the UK, you can search for me typing in Get to Grips with Spanish, Spanish Grammar for Beginners by Julie Halliwell. Please let me know if you've enjoyed this video and if you found it useful. If there are any other videos you'd like me to make on other topics, let me know. I just want to help you get to grips with Spanish in the easiest and quickest way possible. Thank you.